this reading.
Call the meeting to order and a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mrs. Franks.
Mayor Kindle.
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Here.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
Councilman Tucson.
Here.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
City Attorney DeWally.
Here.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I will offer the motion to accept, receive, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 18th, 2024, to receive and file the library board meeting minutes of January 18th, 2024, and to receive and file the Board of Review meeting held March 11th, 2024.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It takes us to the public comment on agenda items. If you're in the audience and you have something on the agenda that you wish to speak to, now is your time. Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
make the resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call vote.
I'm sorry, there is one question, if you don't mind. Simplified Business Solutions, I believe that they are the company that are dealing with our computer, our website. Oh, just the IT of that website? Okay. I was going to ask if the revised website was going to be active soon, but I was just, okay. That doesn't, it's not the same company.
No.
But in answer to your question, it'll be soon. Okay? We just don't have a date, but yes, the new website will be up soon. There's just a lot of moving parts on it regarding security now in this day and age, but it'll be up and running soon.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, that takes us to old business, and since we have none, we'll go to G, new business, city manager's report.
Okay, item G1, resolution, notice of intent, 2024 capital improvement bond. Mayor and council, attached for your approval is a resolution to authorize the publication of a notice of intent relating to the city's potential issuance of bonds through the Michigan Finance Authority, MFA, Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Program. These bond proceeds will fund the lead service line replacements. Approval of the resolution indicates the city's intent to issue capital improvement bonds in an amount not to exceed $2,500,000 to pay the cost to acquire, construct, furnish, and equip water supply system improvements, including the lead service lines, together with all related appurtenances and attachments. As required by the MFA, the resolution will be published with a 45-day referendum period expiring in May. We are currently included in the DWSRF Quarter 3.5 financing pool, which requires construction bonds to be received in late May, in anticipation of Eagle approval in June, with the loan closing in July. At that point, the city would need to approve a bond authorizing resolution in early June after the receipt of the bids for the project. After extensive review with representatives from Miller Canfield It is recommended that we move forward with this project and approve the notice of intent. And Mayor and Council, I have asked Pat McGow from Miller Canfield, he's the bond attorney, to join us tonight. There's a lot of moving parts in this bond, including principal forgiveness. And I've also asked Ryan Kern, in case you have any other further questions, and also Heather Toutant, our DPW supervisor. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
a resolution to approve the notice of intent resolution for the 2024 capital improvement bond, drinking water state revolving fund project in an amount not to exceed $2,500,000 for the issuance of general obligation limited tax bonds, and further to direct the city clerk to publish the notice in accordance with requirements set forth by the loan program.
Support.
Okay, discussion.
Madam Mayor?
Of course.
There are a few things here that I'd just like a little clarification on. One of the, obviously, this is a very large bond, but one of the things that I read in the document is that approximately 51% of the principal will be forgiven, and the remaining 49% will be repaid through the loan from the MFA. And so I'm kind of curious about how that works. Where does this forgiveness come in, and why is it kind of on the back end? You know, you take the bond out, and then you know, get forgiven instead of up front.
Yeah, great question. I'm Pat McGow from Miller Canfield. I'm here to talk about this project and the resolution. Just the city manager gave a recap of where we are. I just want to go back a little bit. The city applied for this project last spring, and it was in the fall that the state awarded the various municipalities with where they stand in the loan and the grant. It was very, very hotly contested, and the city did receive funding through this loan and principal forgiveness. Principal forgiveness in this context is kind of like a grant. Principal forgiveness is really another way of saying a grant. So when we say that the amount to be borrowed is not to exceed 2.5 million, the way that works is that's the full amount that we expect to need for this phase of the lead service line replacements. You will do the work, request the funds, the state will send you the money each month, and then they will forgive half of the repayment. So it's sort of like you're going to borrow 2.4 million, but then when it's done, you only have to pay back, say, 1.2 million with interest. And you say, well, why don't they just give us a grant? That's a great question. That's how this program works. So the principal forgiveness idea is that it's forgiven as soon as it's received from the state. So you will then pay back roughly, it's 51.49. So you'll pay back 51% of what you get, and that will be paid back over 20 or 30 years at their subsidized interest rate of 2%. And that's how this program works for a lot of the communities that are funded through the drinking water program.
Then, may I ask a second question?
Sure.
Will this take care of all lead issues in the pipes in the Harper Woods, or are there some homes that are not yet identified?
Ryan probably
Yeah,
can
that's
answer
more of
that
the
question.
engineering side. I'll let him address that.
It would take care of all of the known lead water services that we are aware of in the city, which is roughly about 140 homes that have lead services. There could be some others out there that we don't know about that may need to be addressed in the future, but this does address all of the known services that we have currently.
Okay.
As far as how you find out about these services, I know the city, and we're gonna be voting on the, CCTV, program a little later today. But is that one of the methods that you use to identify houses, or?
CCTV would have to do with the sewer
Right.
system, the
Okay.
sanitary sewer system. We did do a water investigation program almost 2 years ago now, where they brought in a Vector truck and actually hydro excavated, basically made a small hole, 2 by 2 feet by 2 feet, basically where the curb stop box is behind the sidewalk. and identified what the material was on both sides of that curb stop box. And then between our office and the DPW have investigated what the service is coming into the home at the meter. That's required by the state, and the state's requiring that all lead services be replaced in their entirety from the water main to at least 18 inches inside the home, or roughly where the water meter is.
So all
So-
houses had that level of testing?
Not all homes did, so the Eagle only required a sampling, a sampling of the city be done. So at that time, there were already known lead services in the city that we knew about, so we did a sampling of another 365 homes at that time to identify additional services. We identified 13 out of that program, mostly in the southwest quadrant of the city. We have applied for additional grant money recently to try and get additional funding to continue that investigative work.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
You said homes, but it's all brought to my attention, what about commercial properties?
We have checked some commercial properties too. We're not aware of any commercial properties with lead services.
Any further discussion?
So getting all this money at once, will it speed up this process? How long do we think it'll take to
We-
get 140 homes done?
We've got it set up, it depends on the contractor. Some contractors get more done in a day than others, but we've got this program set up to, once the loan closes, we start construction this fall. Our anticipated completion date is April 30th of 2025, and they can do this work through the winter.
Okay, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, how would homes know if they have lead service or lead line?
So we're currently in the process of putting letters together to those homes that would be affected. And there's gonna be a consent agreement that goes along with that the property owner will have to sign. It basically outlines the program, what we have to do, what the state's requiring the city to do. And they'll have to sign off on that so that we can go on to the private property in order to complete the lead service replacement and have a plumber go inside the home to make the connection at the meter. So we're trying to get that out as far as, I guess, as far as we can in advance, so that we can have all those consent forms in hand by the time we start construction. And we've done that with other communities as well, and that's worked out fine. Sometimes you might get one or two homeowners that are hesitant to sign it at first, but
Okay.
after discussions with them, we usually get them to sign
All
it.
right.
So I want to get this straight. This is government mandated, but
is.
they're only giving us half the money, not all of it, for this program. I mean, it's 140 houses for $2.5 million.
You'd still getting the full $2.5 million, but half of that, or roughly 49% of that, is gonna be grant. So as Pat had explained, basically, the work will get done, the city will have to pay the contractor to do that work, and then the state will reimburse the costs. And then the city has to pay back the loan over a 20 or 30-year period with 2% interest. But you only have to pay back 51%. 51% of that will have to be paid back. The 49% the city would keep, as that's grant money.
So it's a partially funded mandate.
I mean, you could say that it's not really it's kind of an unfunded mandate, really.
Right,
I mean, so we've applied to get loan money to help us out with getting funding to do it. But basically, when this was set up in 2018 with the state, it was an unfunded mandate that all communities replace all their lead services by the year 2041. Since then, EPA, the federal government, has come in and said now that you need to have them completed by 2034.
Okay,
Is there any further questions?
it doesn't seem
Okay.
like a good deal, but I
Thank you,
kind of feel
guys.
like we have to do it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just address that. I mean, you're right. This is something the state mandated in 2017, that all cities and communities have to do this over the next 20 years. And they're providing funding, but it's basically, most of the grants in this program are no more than 49% grant funding. So yes, they're expecting the local units to pick up the rest of that cost. And there were, back when the rule was put into effect, there were a bunch of lawsuits. Great Lakes Water Authority and other communities kind of fought that, but basically the rule still stands. So this is something that all communities that have these lead service lines need to identify them and have a program to replace them over the next 20 years. And the federal government is looking at rules to make it happen quicker. So that's, you're right. They're not giving you all the money to do what they're making you do.
Not anything unusual.
No.
Thank you, sir, very much.
So, Madam Mayor, one more question. It just, it
Go
seems
ahead.
like there's a little bit room for error. We did some sampling, and it doesn't seem like we have a way of guaranteeing that all of them will be covered under this. Am I reading this, hearing this wrong, or?
So that may be right. I mean, I think you've identified an
Have it?
estimated 130. But funding is going to be at a fixed amount up to that 2.4, 2.5 million. So if there are additional lines, there may need to be funding at a later date. Or I think there'll be ongoing work to maybe identify others.
So when we did the sampling throughout the city, we came up with 100, I believe 113. 100 we knew about, 13 we didn't. When you take the way that they did the sampling, throw it into the math calculator, it comes up with approximately 300 lead service lines that they suspect that we have. Now, this grant money will go to as many of those suspected 300, but all of the known 113. And then it is possible, yes, that it still won't cover it all. At that point, that's just something a bridge will have to cross when we come to it.
Thank you for that honesty.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any further questions? Thank you guys so very much. Okay, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes,
Resolution passes.
Okay, item G2, appointment of bond council 2024 capital improvement bond. Mayor and council, I have attached an engagement letter from Patrick McGow of Miller Canfield to provide legal services in connection with the 2024 capital improvement bond for the lead service line replacement project. He has vast experience in this area and is highly recommended. The letter clearly defines the duties and anticipated work that will be performed. The fees for services are billed at the standard rates per hour for lawyers and professional staff primarily devoted to this project. These fees and costs are not predictable and are dependent on several factors that are outlined in the engagement letter. It is my recommendation he be appointed as counsel on this project as outlined in the engagement letter dated March 27th, 2024. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
by resolution to appoint Patrick McGow of the Miller Canfield firm as counsel for the potential issuance of bonds to finance the lead service line replacement project in an amount not to exceed $17,500, and further authorize the city manager to sign the necessary documents.
support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
yes,
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G3, contract extension, sanitary sewer rehabilitation by FCIPP, number 180-339. Mayor and council, attached is a correspondence from our city engineer regarding our sanitary sewer rehabilitation by FCIPP project. We have been reviewing an offer from Instaform Technologies USA LLC, who did last year's project, to honor their existing prices for an extension for 2024. By extending this contract, we save the cost of preparing new bid specifications, advertising, and other startup costs. Further, based on other recent bids, we do not feel that bidding will result in lower prices. They have done excellent work, and it is in our best interest of the city to approve this. I have discussed this at length with the engineers and agree with their recommendation. We recommend that the modification be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
make the resolution to approve the contract modification, in the amount not to exceed $92,456 $1.70 with Instituform Technologies USA LLC for the 2024 sanitary sewer rehabilitation by FCIPP project number 180-339.
Support.
Discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
this 92,000 amount, is that similar to what we paid last year, or is it more or less?
Yeah, it was, I believe, it was right around 100,000, so that's, yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
are we handling the city in quadrants in order to accomplish that? I know this is lining the sewers, especially the ones that are deteriorating. How are we determining which areas are being covered?
Ryan, could you address that, please?
So we prioritize, we've been cleaning and televising sewers for several years based upon the budget that we have every year, and we've been prioritizing those areas that are in poor condition and trying to do the worst as we go. I mean, there's a lot of sewers in poor condition out there. We can only do so much per year. So we really aren't doing it by quadrant of the city. We're just picking those few locations that are in the worst, currently in the worst condition. So for this year's program, there's 4 segments adjacent to the Eastland Commerce Center that are in very poor condition that we're looking to put a full-length liner in.
Madam Mayor, follow up to that question. Because so many of the sewers are in probably shaky condition, how much, we've been doing it for a little while now, how much of the city has been done and how much still needs to be done?
As far as cleaning and televising or rehab
As
work?
far as the rehabbing?
There's quite a bit of rehab work. I know last year we had applied for a state revolving fund loan similar to the drinking water loan that we talked about here earlier this evening to do sewer rehab, basically address those areas of critical and high priority. We were looking to apply for roughly $5 million worth of work there, and we're going to reapply for that again this summer and continue to reapply for it until we can get a loan for it, but hopefully some principal forgiveness too, similar to the lead water service replacement program. But again, that only addresses those locations that we rated as critical or high needing repairs. Some of those go back several years, the last time that they were reviewed as well too. So some of those that are rated medium or low could have advanced since then. So there are numerous repairs that need to be done out there.
I do know that when I was early on council, there were some, I believe I was told that there were some wooden sewer lines.
There
Not
wouldn't
in
be any
this-
wooden
not in-
sewer
not in-
lines.
Not now.
Not in
No.
Harper Woods.
Most of your sewers are either concrete or clay.
Right. You're talking about Detroit that still had wooden,
No, I believe that we did, yeah,
really?
yeah,
Wooden pieces?
yeah.
Many years ago.
Wow. That's unbelievable. Any further discussions?
Councilwoman Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes,
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Item G4, award of bid 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV number 180-340. Mayor and Council, we recently accepted bids for the 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV inspection project. The city engineer bid tabulation and recommendation is attached. I concur with their recommendation that the bid be awarded to Duke's Root Control, Inc. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
by resolution, accept the lowest responsible bid submitted by Duke's Root Control, Inc. of Elgin, Illinois, in the amount of $94,010 for the 2024 sanitary cleaning, sewer cleaning, and CCTV investigation project.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
yes,
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
And that concludes the city manager's reports.
Okay, that takes us to call the audience. You have 3 minutes come to the podium, state your name and whatever you have to discuss. Come on, you were first.
Don't be shy.
Somebody come up.
Evening, Janetta Tabron, Rose Court. I just have some events that's going on in the Harperwood School District. First of all, the Harperwood's Junior Chef Program at Tyrone has started a healthy menu, which consists of parfait bars, celery and carrot sticks, chicken salad, and cottage cheese. And Beacon Elementary will be starting theirs in April. Also, we have completed the math bee at both Tyrone Elementary and the middle school. We continue to have a strong partnership with General Motors. Harperwoods High School has. And we have been awarded the General Motors Summer Internship Program 2024 for 5 years running. Beacon Elementary will be piloting the new collaborative classroom curriculum material for 7 weeks, which detailed analysis and reporting back to the superintendent for recommendations. Also, the Harperwoods Academy Infinity Robotics team, in partnership with the Grosse Pointe North, placed 3rd in the robotics competition out of 40 teams in Sterling Heights this weekend.
Congratulations.
So we have great things going on in the Harperwood School District, great things. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just received a very threatening letter from the Department of Public Works saying my water service will be terminated if I don't put in the new meters. I really object to this. These meters, regardless of they involve a radio transmission, but regardless of the health issues that may or may not involve, what you're saying is I have to accept a device in my home of which I have no control over, and I think this is infringing upon the sanctity of the home. If you want to put this thing outside, fine. The transmitter can be outside. But to demand that I put a device in my home of which I have no control over, and you're saying I have no control what goes on in my home. That's what it's saying. So this is a very fundamental issue here. So now recently the gas meter, DTE Energy, put all the meters on our block outside. So they have transmitters on them, but they're outside. But I really object to being put in this situation of, and I don't like threatening letters. And I think this is a very fundamental issue. Who has control of one's own home? So, so if you persist, if the Department of Public Works persists in turning my water off, we're going to have a really big legal battle about this. So I don't want this to happen. So I would like to, maybe we could reach some compromise. So if you put the transmitter outside, I will have no problems with it. DTE transmitters on their electric meters and their gas meters are all outside the premises. But I think this is just going one step too far, and it's an invasion of the privacy and control of one's own home. You know, outside is one thing, inside is another. And so whether there's health effects for this is not really that's another issue. But the fundamental issue is, can I control what goes on in my own home? That's the fundamental issue involved here. And you're saying, no, I can't. So this is the impasse we have right now. Okay, so I don't know what I would, if the transmitters could be put outside, And so, fine. But having a transmitter inside, of which I have no control over, I think that's going one step too far. Okay? All right, so I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. They've given me notice April 10th. So if my water supply is terminated, I will certainly sue the city for damages. And then this brings up the issue of other people that may not like to have a radio transmitter in their homes. So the city could be forced to remove a lot of these transmitters. Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Just for clarity, Mr. Kadat, in all due respect, the city does own the water meters.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, and a slowed down water meter always errs in the residents' favor. We have 51 that we're replacing. We ask for your cooperation in this matter.
Well, it's a very fundamental issue. I mean, you know, there was a big stink about when they were going to put the electric meters outside with the transmitters. There was lawsuits against that. But now we're going one step further. We're going inside one's person's house. And I just have a very fundamental problem of that's going a little bit too far as, and I don't have any control. I can't shut it off or turn it on. I can turn my TV on or off. I can turn my microwave on and off. I can turn the Wi-Fi on and off. And so this is a device that you're putting in a person's home in which that person that owns that property inside their own residence has absolutely no control. So that's my point. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in the audience? Okay.
Larry Hakeem, beautiful Little Stone Road. A couple quick little things. That was very interesting, by the way. I don't know if there's any way that can be done outside, but that was a very interesting comment by Mr. Kadat. First question regarding that bond grant, or whatever that thing is, the $2.5 million. Quick calculation, that fixed for 113 houses, that comes to about $22,000 a house to fix the water line. Is that like the going rate? Is that approximate what the bid or the quote would be on to do whatever it is they need to do per house?
A real oversimplified explanation of that is, even though we are asking for $2.5 million, and Pat, if I don't get this correct, please jump in. What is going to take place is for the work, we are going to bid out the work.
Right.
If that comes in
Lower.
under 2.5, I believe that's what the loan will be. But
Okay.
we have to go through the same bonding process as anybody else would in the private sector. I believe the state requires us
You
to
got
go
a
through
cap,
that.
and you
Through
can
that
spend
same,
up to the
so
cap.
yes, we asked for 2.5. It may very well come in a lot less expensive, and the principal forgiveness will be part of that too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So thus, if we do have more than 113 houses, there could very well be enough room in there
Yeah.
to, under the cap, to get it done. Okay, that was my concern as to how much it was gonna cost, if calculated per house. And you mentioned that there was nothing found in any commercial lines up and down Harper, up and down Kelly, or across 8 Mile Road? Even in the southwest corner of Kelly, down there in Kelly, where you found most of the homes.
Mr. Hakeem,
There were
you're
no,
supposed to be
I know,
addressing
but
that.
he's gonna answer the
But
question, so. He might not hear me if my voice is going this way.
Uh-huh.
This is common.
I'm trying
Not
to
common.
throw my voice over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
come,
Anyway, that's, that was my concern, because
Okay.
the majority of the problems found were in that area. It would seem to me that the businesses in that area might also have issue. So I was just concerned about that. And I was gonna thank the chief. I don't know if they did anything or didn't do anything, but I haven't had any milk trucks or delivery trucks rolling up and down my street at 7 o'clock in the morning since I made comment about it, and if it was something he did, I just wanted to thank him for it.
Thank you.
If it's nothing he did, I want to thank him for being lucky.
Hi, this is Scott at Country Club. This water lead thing that's going on right now, and you said you've taken samples of certain areas. Do we know, like, I'm on Country Club, do we know what the sample, the sample readings were in our area?
Yes.
If you did a water, if you had a lead line and we sampled your water, you would have received water results from it. So yes, we do as a department, no.
Like for my house, specific house?
Did you do a water sample for us last year?
I don't-
Did you fill up some bottles and return them to the DPW?
I don't recall.
Okay, we wouldn't know yours
Oh.
because you didn't take a sample.
Is it still possible to do that if we didn't do it?
I can check your record.
Okay. 20.
You know what?
854?
You can talk with her afterwards.
She talked with me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Throw your voice.
Yeah, because,
Reflect it?
yeah, if you're having conversation there, it's to talk to us. And if
I
we
was.
need to
She
direct
asked
you
me
to
the question.
someone, that's the difference. All right, seeing no other people, we'll call the council, starting with Constantine.
This is the third time in a row that you're starting with me.
Did we do that last
Just
time?
mentioning that.
I thought it was, okay, forget it. We will go with Councilwoman Williams.
All right, good evening, everyone. First, I would like to wish my sister, Janice Davis, a very happy birthday. She was born today on April Fool's Day. It was a big surprise to my father when she was born. 'Cause I think my mother says she called him first early in the day and said, you know, my daughter's born, you know, and he got excited, and then she said April Fool. And then she called later on in the evening, and of course, he didn't believe it and just stayed at work until it was time to come home. So, wish her a happy birthday today. The other thing, a long time ago, I had asked about a sidewalk repair program, about repairing the sidewalk, where the city trees have uplifted the sidewalks on the side. But I haven't really heard anything about that, and I think it's been a couple of years, and I keep bringing it back up.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up, because we just had a discussion with Wayne County today. It has actually taken this long. We had a shovel-ready project on that side of town, and it's kind of been holding up all the progress. And Ryan, we sat down, we talked about this in detail a few weeks ago, and it wasn't until just today that they actually confirmed that we're going to be receiving the money. And, but again, you know, I've heard that time in and time out, and I'm waiting for the transfer to actually take place, but that's a very good sign that they actually made a commitment. And I believe it's got one more sign-off to go through. So in answer to your question, yes, it's gonna happen. I apologize for it taking this long, but, you know, we rely on county funds mixed with our funds for a big sidewalk, a project that we want to take off in the city this year. And it'll happen. It'll happen. And like I said, we just got the commitment today. Funny you asked that.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, well, this is a story that everybody should keep in mind about your pets. Bring them to the police station. Well, don't bring your dog, but get your dog license, your cat license, and get them chipped. Over this past week, G-Pass picked up a dog over on Maross, brought the dog back, and sure enough, the dog was chipped. Dog was chipped in California, and they called a vet in California, and this vet was very thorough, had a picture of the dog, said, yep, that was our pet. Found the owners. This dog had been missing for 7 months from California. They figured somebody stole the dog. It happened, the dad had was in business in Minnesota. He drove here in 10 hours, came over to G-Pass, and there was a happy reunion with a mom and a dad and a little girl that got their dog back because that dog was chipped.
Wow.
So, chip your pets.
Chip your pets.
Chip your kids.
Then they come back, Tom. They come back.
Don't do that, don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, Tom?
I got nothing. I'm glad we're applying for this grant. It's going to be, the loan's going to be a
Okay.
great deal to do, so.
Councilwoman
Thank you for helping.
Sawicki.
Yeah, I think you added enough with the chipping your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add either.
What?
I know, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Couple of things here. By the way, with the redistricting, which may have come up before, Joe Tate is no longer our state rep, Veronica Pius, previously our councilperson, is now our state rep. Did I get that wrong?
Wait. You said that wrong because Joe Tate was never our state rep. It was Veronica is our state rep and will continue to be our state rep.
Thank you for the correction.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I meant to comment last time, the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner at the War Memorial was a success, having 100 attendants, including our mayor and the mayors from several other points. Councilwoman Jerry LaPratt and many special guests such as our superintendent, Stephen McGee and White. Our special award went to the Harper Woods Coach Oden. As you know, Harper Woods High School football team won the Division State Championship for the first time. Last week, I asked a question about the uses for the bond at the last meeting. The funding for this bond was mainly used to televise, grade, and then repair defects in our sewer lines to avoid extensive property damage and liability concerns for the community. It was discovered through this grant funding that several deteriorated sewer lines that were located beneath road-grade structures and trees were prevented from collapsing and creating severe environmental issues for the city. We've kind of covered that a couple of times, but I asked that question. I want to appreciate the administration for getting back with me on that. I recently attended the SIMCOG meeting, which is Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. SIMCOG, the Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments, is the only organization in Southeast Michigan that brings together all of the region's governments to solve regional challenges. SIMCOG supports local planning through the technical data and intergovernmental resources. SIMCOG plans to improve the quality of region's water, making the transportation system safe and more efficient, revitalize communities, and spur economic development. In fact, SIMCOG is providing the funding for this E Point Harper Woods Detroit Kelly Road corridor. At the sessions, they zoomed in on 3 relevant and complex technology advances: artificial intelligence in the government, air mobility with drones, and big data. We're hearing from industry experts as well as examples on how local governments are using these. For example, we're using AI for screening candidates, interviewing candidates, tracking attendance, performance tracking, surveys, how to motivate and direct workforce, identifying skill gaps, and even assisting individuals with disabilities, especially at ruling delivered materials. It is also being used to help manage risk. Big data, we determining traffic, travel patterns, wearability, and mobile tracking of walk and bike trails, evaluating travel behavior, specific areas, planning design. And we use a lot of that data in some of the planning of our own city. And they really provide that information with us down to the detail. In fact, some of the communities are even also using drones now, but catching criminals by zooming on them as they speed away, examine structures like bridges, which is safety, flying over algae blooms and damage assessments, for example, like in Clinton Township, and locating missing persons and water rescue. So this is an organization, if we don't all know about it, is something that the city has benefited from also. So that's my report.
Oh, right. Dissertation, huh? All righty then.
Well, I just wanted to say the Lions Club pancake breakfast was great. They ran out of sausages, but I guess that's a good thing. They said that was the highest turnout they've had since before COVID. So they were pretty excited about that.
Okay, so you're speaking on the pancake breakfast?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It was a lot of good deals on bread and things like that, so. I didn't get any sausage, but I got some pancakes, so that was
Okay,
that's good.
so let me
I'll pass it
explain
back.
this since, are you through?
Sure. that can be
Okay.
done.
Our pancake breakfast for the Lions Club was very successful. But for a few people that came in at just before 1 o'clock, before it ended, unfortunately, we had already ran out of sausages because we decided to cut down because we had so much sausages left from last year. Well, little did we know we needed every sausage that we could have gotten this year. And we really appreciate it because it was a great turnout. And I appreciate everyone who came out to support the Lions Club. And we really, 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 truly appreciate the support we get from our community here. And other than that, I hope everyone had a pleasant holiday season and that we continue to look forward to the spring and all the new beginnings that we will be having. Mr. Jennings?
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I'll make the motion for adjournment.
yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Are these the